Hello, I'm Caroline Marshall, and welcome to Bump to Business Owner, the podcast speaking to mums in business, you. I'll be in conversation with some of the most inspiring women and mothers in enterprise about their journey, how they created their successful businesses alongside raising their children, and what that looks like in work and family life. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Bump to Business Owner. I'm your host, Caroline Marshall, and I'm back with a little mini-sode. And I'm recording at night, and it's not actually nighttime, but it feels like nighttime. It's only 5 o'clock. But, you know, anyone who does the school run every day and finishes work at a certain time, it's like, I'm working at 5 o'clock in my house as well. I'm used to working at 5 o'clock outside of my house because I'm not doing the school run and staying out for the evening. But working from my desk and it all being pitch black outside, the lighting is terrible for this. But I have been terribly high with the podcast this series, and I think my team might kill me or leave me. So I am here recording this for them and also for me. It's annual check-in time in Upsource at the minute. So what I do is I do a speed check-in with every team member, see where we're at for the next year, just what they want from us, how they're doing. And it can feel like a lot. And also I get a little bit scared. I get a little bit scared about these. I don't know why. I feel like something awful is going to come my way. And I really don't know why. I clearly need therapy or something about that. I'm in therapy, so it's fine. I'll get some therapy on that. That is where I'm at. And that is why, you know, while I'm not all about, you know, New Year's resolutions, I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of like, here are my 3 learnings for 2025, because I thought they might help others. But also what was surprised me about this is I did a little exercise with my friend, Mr. ChatGPT. And it is a Mr. blatantly. I said to him, shall I personalize it? I don't know. Well, I said to ChatGPT, I just had a little fun exercise prepping for this podcast. Instead of me telling ChatGPT what my learnings I was thinking of, I just asked it to tell me my learnings. And classic ChatGPT style, it told me my learnings and they were really shiny and positive. A bit like when you go for an interview and they're like, what's your weakest skill? And you're like, oh, I'm just too organised. It felt a bit like that with ChatGPT. They're all really positive. You know, I lead best when I let go of the do-it-all mentality. I mean, that's what I sell, isn't it? Your story isn't a liability, it's your brand power. Thank you, ChatGPT. And I thrive when I prioritise sustainable growth, not speed. Pretty much, yeah. It's true, could tell you that. Not very interesting learnings though, I feel. But if you do need a positivity boost from your ChatGPT friends, I don't know, maybe yours isn't as positive as mine. But I recommend doing that. But I tell you what was interesting about this. So I said to him, all right. I said like, awesome, great. Now give me my constructive. Come on, give me some real learnings now. And I kind of closed them with one eye, but it's actually really interesting on one of them. I think some of them are a bit standard as well. Like I still own things. Number one, I still own things and I should let others fully handle. Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, but that's also probably a bit down to my budget as well. I'd probably be a bit better at letting go if I could afford everything. I spend too much on other people as it is. I had to call with my dad, aka my accountant today. ChatGPT can have a chat with him if it wants me to let go of more. Number 2, I sometimes confuse standards with perfection. I mean, yeah, I think most of us probably do, yeah. So that means I just have very high expectations. Yes, clearly, I know that too. But I quite liked this one. It was a bit like therapy. This is probably why people chat to it. I'm still holding myself back from fully stepping into thought leadership. And yeah, I quite liked that one. I said, you know, interesting. It was definitely therapizing me there. Like, here's what it says. It's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of visibility. Interesting. I might go to my therapist on this one. See what she says. So it's like, I'm the only thing stopping you from being seen as the voice of founder mums is you waiting for permission to take that space. That's very deep. I mean, although a good point though, I say I'm laughing about this, although with my other hat on of being a bit woo, it's interesting because I went this week to see an exhibition by the Maternal Mental Health Alliance. Amazing one called This Is Motherhood. They want to tour it, so if anyone owns a gallery or a space anywhere in the country, get in touch with them because I think this should go everywhere. it was all about the other stories of motherhood that I am so into talking about and taking away that shiny exterior. So there was all the stories from birth trauma, mental health, everything there. I can't lie, I shed a tear. I felt like I was the only one crying, and like, 'cause everyone else dead inside, probably traumatized inside, but I did cry. It was tough, and I'm very proud because Upsource gave support to MMHA, to the comms team there in the lead up to this event. So I felt very proud to be able to support in a small way the amazing work that they're doing. Yeah, so I shed a tear there, and I did find it very emotional. Clearly, October, going through some stuff in the lead up to my 5th anniversary of NICU trauma, which is coming up to my learnings in a bit. And I wanted to do a social media post on it, as always, and I kept going to write it, and I felt like stummed. Like I just didn't want to write about that stuff again. And it was a bit like, oh, is this a bit much? And I clearly have been very open about my journey, about my mental health journey, but this was clearly maybe no, I didn't even talk to ChatGPT about this, so it's not even really relevant. Maybe ChatGPT's listening to my thoughts now, or my notes on my iPhone, because that's what I was writing this on and struggling with. And I do actually think I found a really good balance of highlighting it just because it did get very intense, talking about the biggest cause of death in the first year of motherhood is suicide, which so yeah, there'll be trigger warnings now all over this, and I think that's just what has made me feel so deeply about this, and probably where I was struggling with this LinkedIn post. So that's where my mind is at this week, short into that. So that's why I'm laughing about my learnings from ChatGPT. But also, I did feel maybe there's some areas I'm holding back into, and maybe it's still just an extra side of healing. But here are my 3 real learnings I'm going to go to. But that's also just a little update of my week. And I'd like to send a bit of kindness and thought out there to all of you. I think this is a really hard time of year. And I think going to this, the MMHA gallery exhibition, it was brilliant, and I just want to say strength to all of you and how bloody brilliant we are in a system that is not supporting us becoming mothers at the minute. So please do be kind and support each other, and I will keep stepping into my thought leadership and talking about this. So while I've got 3 learnings, weaving through personal and business as they all do, but I think something aligned with that down to, so this year I think the first half was an absolute blur. And I did this Goldman Sachs business growth program, and we had a family bereavement, my mother-in-law, right as I started it. I think literally the day I started it. And, that was hard. And I think for a while, I think I appreciated it in the moment. I knew what we were running on. And also, it was a lot of support I needed to give my partner and my family there. And I think though for a while I've always forget this, just because it isn't as hard. This year hasn't been as hard, anywhere near as hard as when I had my babies, and going through that all through COVID, and my youngest being sick. But I think it was when I got very sick at the end of the business growth program. So by the way, that was a learning as a part of this. I'm including it all in the learnings. Bear with me here. It's all in the learnings. Is that I think doing this business growth program and accelerator, anything like that, for anyone who's done one or considering doing one, I think doing one of those is a bit like when people say like having a baby is really hard. You really don't know until you've gone through it. And so when people say like an accelerator is a lot of work, you're like, yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. I'm just going to prepare for it mentally. And then you're like, oh no, that was a lot of work. It's always like a lot more work than you're prepared for. And it was. And I got very sick at the end. And I know I wasn't alone on the program with that. Then I went straight into the summer holidays. We all know what that juggle is like. And then my youngest started school, so I had all the feelings along with, and he had all the feelings. Sorry, but it's about my feelings. Screw him. I had all the feelings about him starting school, and then I had all the really bad mouth ulcers. Solidarity to my team who understood that. And it was because I think finally I relaxed for a minute, and it was understanding that I spent probably 9 months of the year running mostly on empty. Probably describes what I'm going through now as I'm gearing up for December with my nervous system all over the place. Yeah, so I thought just pretending again. Also, we had a lot of team changes as well, so we did have a lot more going on. My lovely community manager Sue went on maternity leave in June, and it was a lot of work in the business when I wasn't in the business. So I think that was really reflecting that. Just remember, it's okay to say a certain time period was hard and crack on with it, but give yourself that rest time and reflection that was hard, and we're kind of still going with the fallout of that. I'm so pleased to go into 2026 and not do a business program, by the way. Another one landed in my inbox talking to a client the other day who signed up to one. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I was like, no, I've got at least a couple of years before I do any other business programs that aren't longer than a day. I am going to Google on Friday with Female Founders Rise, which I'm very excited about, but that's a day. There's going to be no homework afterwards, and I'm going to see Wicked afterwards, so that'll be great. I'll tell you more about that another time. But on learning number 2, this is a really nice one, and it's true, it's really cheesy, but I think I've realised there's more people out there that have my back and are being really supportive of me and the business than I realised. And that was just, it's been an absolute delight. And I'm going to get emotional. I'm not going to get emotional. I am getting emotional because it's like, I've just realised it's been so nice. I talked about these community managers that came in and how they have all really just shown their support for Upsource and what we're trying to do as a business, and really invest, and also come to me though. And I've had several of them when because they have a bit more insight into the business now than they did before, and just check in with me to check if I'm okay. And, and that is so nice when I feel like I should be the one checking in with them that they're okay. So that's been really appreciated. Not just that, I've received referrals from people I've not expected, which has been really lovely. And also, I think it's quite clear, I've clearly just having a season and emotional time. I think, again, I've always respected, milestones, and I think 5 years on, approaching that with my little boy's NICU anniversary in 3 weeks, I think it will be now. Yeah, 3 weeks. If Christmas is in 5 weeks, he will be in 3 weeks. So yeah, 3-4 weeks, less than a month, a couple of weeks away. And I've managed to chat it over with a VA friend, just some of the feelings I'm feeling recently. And now, YOLO, we're going to see 5 tomorrow, which is really nice. And so in so many ways, I've just realised, and so there's been some amazing people in the VA community that have come up and just said the nicest things to me this year. And I am only sorry I haven't had capacity to always reciprocate it or meet up for that coffee with some people who want to pick my brains. It's a real challenge I've had this year as we have grown as a team. We've hit my goal of almost 40 people on the Upsource team, which is very exciting, but also a little bit scary. Now, I guess, if I was going to take a learning, if I was a person to do new things in 2026, which I will be in April, is that I've got to give more as well. I hope I'm giving more and keep checking in on how much I'm giving, because I've really felt the community and people in my life giving to me and checking in with me. So thank you for that. That's a very cheesy one. ChatGPT did not write that one. That was all my cheese. Learning number 3 is that I've still got some work to do. If anyone can tell by my emotional podcast, is that, I think it's like, what's it Anna Martha said? It's not a step back, it's a step up. And I think I've had this every October. It catches me by surprise, and I always try and be fine. And I think now I'm just still doing some work on making sure I go into the winter season feeling okay. It doesn't make me less of a leader. But I think I've just felt the pressure being at me and my husband, a little bit of a turning point in our lives. We've kind of settled into the rhythm with our kids, and just, feeling that all the people on the team, how I can support them. So I'm taking the first step and making sure that I've fully supported myself, because I feel if you need to do some work, then you need to do it, so then you can be there for everyone else around you. So that's my third learning, is there's still work to do. In all cases, the words, I tell you what I've started doing as well, as I've started going outside in the morning when my kids are having breakfast and drinking a whole pint of water, and that has been really refreshing. So that is one of my new routines that I thought I'd drop in there, and it's very easy. You feel good because you've drunk a whole pint of water and you've had the outside, and it's been quite nice recently because it's been a lot of like cold and sun, and the boys even come and join me, and one of them was like, oh, it's so fresh out here. So okay, so they're learning from that routine because they don't always see my well-being routine, so it's quite nice for them to start to see it, and I've started talking to them about it, about why I'm doing it. So those are my 3 learnings. And as well, alongside ChatGPT's one, which I quite liked, I'm going to steal the thought leadership one, whatever it means on that, and just reflect on it. Do have a reflect on yourselves. You know, nothing is perfect. And like I said, it was quite interesting. Like I said, I think I tend to go with the ones, oh, what have I done wrong this year? So it was quite nice for ChatGPT to go down the route of showing me all my good learnings from this year, but then also my really critical ones. I might ask it now. Should I ask it now? Hold on. That's so funny. I just asked ChatGPT to go really critical on my learnings of the year, and it made me laugh. Apparently I sabotaged delegating without realizing. Fine, I will take the hint, ChatGPT. I hold myself back more than anyone else. I think, you know, that's fairly standard. This is like reading a horoscope, isn't it? But I still pretend I'm fine when I'm clearly not. So, you know, I thought that was interesting. So join me on this exercise. Go get the positive highlights, the critical, and then go really critical. But also, before you ask ChatGPT, though, do ask yourself. I do feel that. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope you, at least when you're listening to these episodes, are feeling support in that we are all just getting through this sometimes. This year has gone so quickly. And well done for making it through, whether you started your business, a business is still just a little idea in your mind, or you're literally here just for support. Great. Love that too. Thank you so much. Tell us what you'd like to hear more of in 2026, what stories inspire you, pitch yourself as a guest, send other guests our way. And please do forgive me if it takes a while to get you on the podcast or someone you want on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to our final episodes of 2025. Thank you so much for listening to Bump to Business Owner. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please do rate, review, follow, or subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us to connect with more mums and business owners. You can DM me on @BumpToBusinessOwner on Instagram, and I'll be back next week.